So welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Sarah, and this is my 8-month-old daughter, Edie. Say hello. We are snotty and sickly, which is why I'm making this video today, because we actually got ready to go to church this morning, and then I just sent my husband, and I stayed home with the kids because we have this new cough. And I may have to make this in 2 parts. I'm going to see how this goes. You want down? So if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if not, hey. So this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about breastfeeding and also doing keto. I'm going to quickly just jump into telling you my numbers and things I've gone through the last couple of years. So in 2012, in April 2012, I had VSG surgery, which is vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is a weight loss surgery. And at that time, I lost 180 pounds. It took me about 18 months, 15, 14 months. I got down to a pretty small weight for me. And then about 20 months after surgery, I got pregnant with my first son, Oz. And from the get-go, he had issues latching. We never did. Man, my little head feels warm. We never did latch on well. And so I spent the first 10 months of his life being an exclusive pumper. And we did that to the milk ran out. And eventually I just could not keep up with his demand. And that whole time was ridiculous and stressful. And breastfeeding is way easier than pumping ever thought about being. It was awful. I learned to pump and do so many things. If you are a pumper, I suggest you want to play with the toys. Also, welcome to my laundry room. If you're a pumper, I suggest getting a nursing bra, a pumping bra. I pumped in the car. I pumped washing dishes. I pumped giving him a bath. I pumped changing diaper. I pumped feeding him a bottle. I pumped all the time. I was up around the clock. I was completely stressed out. You could ask my husband and my best friend. They'll tell you all I talked about, all I breathed about was pumping and what I could eat, what I could do, how to power pump just to keep up. And in the end, I lost out. I mean, I did it for 10 months, so that's not a loss. But during that time, I gained a crazy amount of weight just trying to pump and eat things that would increase my supply. So going into birth number 2, which was 3 years later. Oz was 3 in September. He just turned 4. Today's actually his 4th birthday. 3 last September, and then we had Edie in December, at the very end of December. So I yo-yo. So I had done keto once before, about 6 months before we got pregnant with her. Actually 8 months before we got pregnant with her. I started keto in August 2016. I did that for till about March, April of 2017. I really only lost about 20 pounds during that time, but the shape of my body was ridiculous. The changes in my body were crazy. That particular Christmas, everybody was like, oh my gosh, you look so great, you look so different. So I had done keto before, and I knew that it worked, and I actually had a horrible keto flu during that time. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I should also stop and, well, I'll say that at the end. So that's why we didn't go to church. You okay? So during that time, so coming into it this time, I was really paranoid because I didn't want to gain all the weight, and I was hoping breastfeeding would work, and I didn't want to have supply issues. And while pumping, I had supply issues, but I had told myself that it was only because he never latched on. In fact, since then, I have learned that, and I've read a bunch of stuff, but I didn't know that I'm just not good at pumping. My body doesn't love pumping. And it may be the actual breast pump I have. I have a Medela. I have heard that some women can't use a Medela. They do better with a Spectra. There's a lot of things I could talk about that. But again, a different video. So many things. If you have questions, open book. Just ask me. Sorry, I keep checking on her. So this particular video is mostly just about doing keto and breastfeeding. So the first couple months, I had tried every now and then. I would be like, okay, this is it. I've gained all this weight with pregnancy. It's time. I got to get back into it. And so I might try a day or two and then completely freak out. And my supply would drop and, you know, whatever. I just couldn't do it. So I thought he was screaming. I was screaming. So around 4 months, I had decided that she was big enough. We were going to do it. I talked to some friends of mine, and she'd given me some research on some stuff that she had seen about women, you know, doing just fasting basically for like 30 days and never lost any milk supply. And I kept thinking, that is ridiculous. That's not me. That will never be me. Every blog, every Facebook post, every group I was in, every Pinterest site I read, everybody sort of had conflicting information about breastfeeding and keto. There were some that were like, absolutely, it's doable, blah, blah, blah. Some sites, again, if you're here because of that, you probably already know all the things. You've probably researched and done all the things. And so you've seen the conflicting things too. So I was really struggling. But about 4 months I started back, and immediately I was like, okay, my supply tanked. I kind of panicked, and I went the other direction. But I kept telling myself that we were going to eventually get back on board. So when she was, hey ma'am, what is that? You don't need that. You don't need that. You can have baby. You can have baby. So when Edie was 6 months old, I decided that it was time. So I eased into it. I just started getting back on track. And keep in mind, I'm a weight loss surgery patient. So my, and that is, what happened? That is one of the things I had worried about. And maybe that may also be a supply issue for me. And we have had some supply issues just since she's been born. But anyways, at 6 months, I knew that at that point we would start eating some solids and baby food. And I thought, well, what's on your face? You want this? You want a patch? You want Galileo? So I thought we would try it again. And some of the vloggers that I followed with breastfeeding and keto, I know that they started back about 6 months. I've known some people who started right as soon as their babies popped out. I just did not find that very successful. So, I am here today standing before you to tell you that keto and breastfeeding is absolutely possible. You will most likely see a drop in your supply in the very beginning, just for the first couple days. And then we have had bouts of supply issues on and off. Not anything. I have not had a supply issue in probably a month now. I have been back on track for 12 weeks. This is week 12. I've lost about 14 pounds. But there's a huge difference in my body. And I also am somebody who loses and gains weight over and over again. Like, I have a big whoosh. I'll do this thing. If you go back and see my videos, you'll see. I'll lose weight. I'll gain weight. I'll lose weight. I'll gain weight. I'll lose a lot of weight. And that seems to be of how things go. At this point, I am really just focusing on not so much the scale, but how I feel. I'm making changes in my whole household. I'm trying to lean us more toward a sugar-free household. My husband eats keto at home when he's here with me. But I can't make those decisions for him outside the home. And my kids eat some keto things. And if you want, I can make a separate video about that. Not everything is keto. Obviously, there are some differences. But we are trying. Edie like this morning, she did have regular, Oz's birthday, I made him chocolate chip pancakes. And she did have some pancake without the chocolate chip. So, but she is mostly grain and sugar free. So, I mean, she's only 8 months old. So I've been back at this, it's not gonna work. I've been back at this for 12 weeks. And, sorry, what's better than a breastfeeding and keto video than me?
Yep.
Whoa. Breastfeeding. All right, listen. Go play. Go play. So I've been back at this for about 12 weeks, and during that time, I have learned some things that were helpful, and I wanted to share those with you. And these aren't like brilliant, genius ideas. I just wanted you to be confident and know that you can be successful with keto and breastfeeding. Number one, play with your macros. Find out what your macros are. There's tons of keto calculators out there. Find out what those are. And start slow, which is what I did. I started around 100 carbs. I started dropping them and I went to 80 carbs, and then I went to 50 carbs. So I started slow. So I eased myself back into it. And there are women who say that they can reach ketosis and be, at a higher carb. And if that's you, awesome. If you need that for breastfeeding, awesome. Number 2, electrolytes, especially in the beginning. Find out what works for you. I did a lot of Powerade Zero, and if the keto police is here, they'll tell you that that is not what people consider true keto. I say make it work for your lifestyle, for your whatever you need. I'm a mom of 2 small kids. I stay at home. We don't have a lot of money, time, and so I have to do what's convenient for me and in this moment. And I would say lots of electrolytes and lots of water. Do not not drink your water. I will also tell you that I have not had an electrolyte drink. I've only had one all week this week. So at some point, you kind of even out and get better at holding on to your electrolytes, I think, after those initial first couple weeks. I already said lots of water, so just make sure your electrolytes are up. If you don't want to do Powerade Zero, there's tons of pouches you can order off of Amazon, like Ultima, or if you look up a Ketorade drink on Pinterest, or probably if you YouTube it, that'll pull up. I've done those too. Not the Ultima, but I've made Ketorade several times. Currently, I'm not taking any supplements, but I probably should be. That's just not something that I have made an effort to do. We're just still, back at this 12 weeks, and we're in survival mode still. And number 3, track your macros. I hate to track my macros. Hate it. Was that number 1? I don't even know. See, mommy brain. I hate tracking my macros. I absolutely hate it. And I've actually gone back to not doing it again. But in the beginning especially, you need to track your macros to keep up with what you're eating. And just trying to stay under whatever carb level that you've decided is, what you're going to do. Technically keto is 20 and under. So track it. Track your macros. And number 4, take it easy on yourself. Know that you'll have good days and bad days. And, it's all about survival. And so far I've done well. I've had a bite of a birthday cake a couple weeks ago that somebody had made. And they had made a specific cake for me. It wasn't a birthday cake. She'd gone to a baking camp. But for the most part, I have not had any cheat meals. I've just stayed the course. Once I decided that this was it, I stuck with it. I also don't use any kind of testing strips, and I may be over my time, and I don't use any kind of monitor, but just know keto and breastfeeding is possible. If you have questions, ask me here. If you want them to be private, find me on Instagram under SARL Harrison, or email me at sarlharrison@hotmail.com. Bye.